Welcome to Star Citizen, the XXL news, the big roadmap update and the monthly report. With version 3.16, the new mining gadgets are planned, which should make it possible for solo miners to also mine lucrative Quantanium deposits, as well as massive resource deposits. Until now, these lucrative deposits were only possible in cooperation with other players, as the skills of a single player were not always sufficient. So we had to team up with several other Prospector players or go out with an Argo Mole. These new mining gadgets, which will initially be available in 6 different versions, give us extended options, with which we can, among other things, influence the resistance or instabilities of deposits, directly adjust the charge window or the charge rate, which ultimately allows us to mine massive deposits. However, we first have to buy one of these gadgets, leave our ship to manually attach it on our chosen deposit and configure it on site, adjust it directly to the stone according to our wishes, which of course makes us very vulnerable. So with this, we incur extra costs and extra risk, while at the same time we also get enormous profit opportunities. The configuration of these gadgets is quite rudimentary, whereby we can adjust various values. And if you are looking for more in-depth information on these different values in the mining field, I recommend a comprehensive XXL mining guide on the channel. What was very interesting was the statement that they are currently working on enabling the MISC Starfarer to refine and process mined materials from a Prospector or Argo Mole directly on site. However, it remains to be seen whether this is really the Starfarer or another upcoming Refinery ship from MISC. However, a ship with Refinery capabilities has already been announced and is expected to be released soon. Further information on this remains exciting, as a comprehensive refining capability of mining material by the Starfarer would be a definite plus. We will keep you up to date here, of course. Mining with refining capabilities will remain the most extensive and in-depth gameplay area in the future. In the sprint report, there was news about the different logos of some reputation factions, where we can expect some new reputation factions like the Mercenary Guild, the Transport Guild, the Mining Guild, as well as a Worker Guild. We can expect to be able to work for these different reputation factions to work our way up piece by piece and unlock various bonuses. Possible bonuses are equipment, better conditions, or access to special missions. Currently, in the grey box phase is the Drake Vulture, which together with the salvaging mechanics will be released in Q2 2022. More details on this can be found in the monthly report and also in the Roadmap Roundup, which we will go into detail in a moment. The Vulture is designed as a one-man salvage ship and offers an introduction to the salvage mechanics, which were originally divided into individual subsections and were to be released in Q1 2022. But due to the focus on the single-player expansion Squadron 42, this mechanic, like the Vulture, will now appear a quarter later. The variety of possible characters' heads has been expanded, with these being available for NPCs as well as players in the future. Details like missing eyebrows and texture adjustments are still in the works, as are different hairstyles. And the new Miles Eckert already looks even more sinister. A highlight was the presentation of the new Quinn's Medium Tech Armor, which is a Hurston Dynamics exclusive armor, but will also be lootable. And this armor will also feature a combination of matching parts with visual enhancements, such as the connection tube between the chest armor and the helmet. It is quite possible that this new reputation armor, which we could gradually unlock through orders for Hurston Dynamics. The look is definitely very well done and reminds at least me of Destiny 2, but what is your opinion on this new armor and design? Feel free to let me know. And different reputations items like armor or weapons would be a clear motivation to do missions for other factions as well, if we are rewarded with such fancy armor pieces. And I'm already very curious about a Microtech counterpart. For the design of the stations in the Pyro area, there were various graffiti designs which are supposed to indicate different gangs, among other things. These are still concepts, but they have already made significant progress since CitizenCon. And also different concepts of space stations, which are not all meant for Pyro, were presented. Depending on a system, these are supposed to be clearly distinguishable from each other by their appearance, whereby a station for a completely different system was also presented with the number 1. However, there was no indication of which system it was for. Let's move on to the monthly report. In the monthly report, we go into all areas that do not directly relate to the past CitizenCon, but focus on upcoming content and current updates. The AI content team has completed the AI behavior and usability of the hospital respawning experience, which includes the doctors and nurses greeting players when they wake up in hospital beds. And as a way to test out the new player status system, we recommend drinking drinks at a bar until you're drunk. During the CitizenCon gameplay demo, we were also able to see the behavior of workers, artifact sellers, and some of the upcoming AI security behavior. The AI feature team has also improved combat perception responses, as well as corrected calculations to prevent NPCs from shooting when friendly characters are in the way. The AI technology team continued to work on planet navigation. This allows NPCs to assess whether they can use a particular navigation link or whether doors are locked so they can be used correctly in wayfinding. The ship AI focused on improvements to aiming and accuracy, how the AI uses missiles in combat, as well as forcing prioritization of specific targets. The animation team worked on various AI behaviors, including the nurses, vendors, bartenders, security guards, civilians, ducking and hiding. Development of the Shubin interstellar mining gadgets continued, as well as work on facial animations for all existing body animations. The character art and engineering teams have focused on updating new character heads, which will significantly improve the quality of all character heads in PU as well as Squadron 42. In addition, development has begun on a number of new outfits for the population of Pyro. The US ship team continued to refine the Crusader Ares series, including several new color variants. The Rig Vulture reached the final stage of design, with a focus also on the living and cargo spaces. One of the often mentioned unannounced vehicles continued to move through the pipeline, this time receiving a final UI layout and lighting, with preparations for release already beginning. An additional new ship received its final color scheme. In the UK ship team, 3 ships went through the final stages of the pipeline, while the Banu Merchantman already went through the white box. Development of the upcoming Miss Cults continued, with Hull A going through white box review and Hull C going through grey box review. The weapon feature team began work on the Firestorm Kinetic Side 3 bombs, the cluster bombs, for the Crusader Hercules, as well as the design of the upcoming ship tractor beam. There is also active work on the mining device, proximity mines and the laser trip mine. Pedro Camacho is already working on the music for Pyro to set a tone and sound palette for it. The physics team implemented a quantum grid, which is used during quantum travel to detect collisions and obstacles along the way. Significant progress was made in the Gen 12 conversion, load times were improved, massive instantation is now supported and the instance buffer was optimized. The scaleform rendering stage used for the menu and game world UI has been optimized to reduce the average stage count from 2000 to a maximum of 60. For the atmosphere and cloud rendering, all recent improvements have been applied. The core engine team worked on the entire streaming code, which now supports the sphere-based culling required for Squadron 42. The feature team introduced the filter function of the new inventory, as well as enhancing it several times already. US gameplay team focused on the new item kiosk, which provides the ability to sell items to shops. Work had also begun on the cargo overhaul. And the server crash recovery fix was implemented. The vehicle team is working on a major overhaul of grav lift handling. Jump point development continued. Some of the technology behind jump points is dependent on server meshing, so the team continues to work with the relevant teams. Improvements to water rendering continued, with a focus on correctly simulating volumetric light links below the surface. The team is also completing a major overhaul of the texture samplers to make them compatible with Gen 12 and Vulkan. And the lighting team worked on fixing bugs in the Alpha 3.15 locations. Lighting for the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo was extensively adjusted to be a new and interesting experience for the community. A look dev pass began for the abandoned space stations of Pyro. The location team put the finishing touches on Area 18's hospital, as well as making good progress of the Myria Pure Hearts in Lawville and the rest stop clinics. The white box for the Levski Hospital has also been revised. The current focus of development is Derelict Ships version 1, for which the first puzzles have been added. Currently there are two types of modules, Vanilla and Puzzles. Vanilla modules are simply spaceship parts in which players can find basic resources or items. Puzzle modules containing a puzzle with a lootable container as a reward. These modules have been completed and will be inserted at various crash sites. Speakers also continue to work on content for Pyro, including collaborating on mission design and developing the factions and locations that will be found in the system. Work continued on NPC spawning and tracking, with the first major internal milestone coming up. All types of facial animations will be possible in the future, including animals and aliens, and there is the prospect of extending or adapting this to future requirements. The UI team worked on the UI for the upcoming refueling feature and mining gadgets. In addition, sub-terminals are being prepared to use building blocks, as well as adding updated door control for ships in a timely manner. Vehicle engineering has working on several features, including new vehicle releases, landing gear, radar and scanning, repairs and door panel interaction. The VFX team has fully completed several new ships, including the Crusader Ares variants and their weapons. Work continued on the size 10 bombs, which now look much better. At least, planetary ground storm effects have been rebalanced. Let's move on to the current roadmap roundup. On the subject of salvaging, the salvaging mechanics. As previously announced, the focus has shifted to deliver features for Squadron 42 first, before integrating them into the persistent universe. This has the dual benefit of Squadron 42 benefiting greatly from the additional resources and focus, and in the persistent universe these features will then already be coming online in a major complete and polished state. It is therefore planned to complete work on salvaging for Squadron 42 in the first quarter of 2022. In order to have enough time to implement this feature set in the persistent universe, the release of salvaging there is now planned for the second quarter of 2022. In addition, Salvage Tier 0 tech has been renamed Salvage Tier 0, with the first release no longer being just a backend tech implementation, but a complete package of salvaging, from hand salvaging as well as ship-powered salvaging, including disassembly and repair of ship's hull, which be introduced with the Drake Vulture. The following areas have been added for release. Abandoned spaceships, point of interests. Point of interest, which will scattered on planets, are abandoned spaceships with some sort of activity, such as puzzles, traversals, enemy AI and some sort of reward for solving this activity, which is planned for Alpha 3.16. Mining gadgets. Mining gadgets help modify the rock and assist the player in mining. The player can physically attach a gadget to a resource on foot to modify its properties and make mining either easier and safer or faster and riskier, planned for Alpha 3.16. Ship-to-ship refueling. Implement systems that allow players with certain ships to refuel other ships and get paid for it. Players can refill the fuel tanks of these specific ships from a station using an updated interface to recharge, refuel in landing zones and space stations. Also planned for 3.16. Update Dying Star in Arena Commander. The update to the Dying Star map, increasing the overall size, adding new playable areas, more cover options and new space resources, also planned for 3.16. Revision of Gravlev physics. A significant overhaul of the flight and driving model of gravel-lab vehicles in hover mode. The aim is to improve the overall feel and stability, resulting in a far better experience for players using hoverbikes. Also released with 3.16. The DNA head update. Implementation of graphics updates for heads that will improve quality, both for players and NPCs. Also with 3.16. Selling items to shops. Players will be able to sell items from their local inventory to shops using a new interface based on the building blocks. This supports the recently added loot generation feature, which allows these items to be sold for money. This feature is not planned until 3.17. NPC taxi missions Tier 0. NPC will request transportation between rest stops in this mission type, with the reward depending on the speed, safety and comfort with which the player gets the NPC to their destination. Also with the version 3.17. The Drake Vulture. Implementation of Drake's light salvage ship, the Vulture. This is planned with Salvaging for 3.18. Temporarily removed from the releaseware. Origin M50 engine swap, dynamic door alignment, player slides, crouch improvements, physicalized weapon handling and ship shield emitters. But there are also news for subscribers. In November, subscribers will have access to all 4 variants of the RSI Constellation series, including the recently released Taurus. Subscriber items include a brand new RSI Pembroke heavy suit and matching backpack, which will give you plenty of inventory space and exceptional heat protection. As usual, available in 3 variants. To get the RSI Pembroke heat suits, as part of a subscription, you need a subscription by 9th of November. There was news on the subject of lost subscription items. With the launch of Alpha 3.15 and the introduction of physical inventory, we may suffer an untimely death due to pirates or game bugs, and we will no longer be able to access our paid subscriber items in-game. It has been confirmed here that even if we have been looted, all subscriber items as well as any similar items purchased from the Play Store can be easily restored. For this, an account reset is currently recommended, which will restore these items. However, this is only a temporary solution to get the items back quickly. A number of alternative recovery options are currently being considered and will be implemented at a later date. Furthermore, the Drake Cutlass Red will be available in the store with improved insurance until the end of the month. And finally, some informations to the referral bonus. Since 1st of November until 1st December, you will receive the Argo MPUV as a referral bonus for free, so to speak, but more on that in a moment. And since this ship was the winner of the Ship Showdown this year, you and the newly created account that uses a referral code will also receive the MPUV Best in Show livery, the Argo flight jacket and a special backpack. This bonus is awarded when a new player uses a referral code and purchases a starter pack from the Pledge Store or generates sales of at least $40. So if you spend $40 on a new account, like 4 $10 gift cards, and send them back to your main account yourself after 30 days, you get the MPUV and add-ons for free, but you'll have to invest $40 that you can only use in-game. The recruited player will receive his reward chip immediately, the new player as soon as the promotion ends on 1st of December. Please note that the Argo MPUV with lifetime insurance cannot be melted down or given away, but it can be updated and is permanently tied to your account. I hope you enjoyed the video and leave me a like and maybe even a subscribe here. Version 3.15 is about to go live, which is already a few weeks late. However, we have received many new extensive features and mechanics that make this a bit more understandable. And with 3.15.1 and the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo from the 19th of November, the next event is already imminent. So it remains exciting. But as always, I'm interested in your opinions on the subject. What do you think about today's news? Let me know in the video comments on Discord or in the almost daily Twitch livestreams. But as always, the most important thing at the end, a big thank you to all supporters, whether Patreons, channel members or Twitch subscribers. Without you this wouldn't be possible and you are an enormous motivation for which we like to say thank you, you rock! And of course, there will be extensive and top-notch giveaways from the best partners and us again this month. You can find how to take part and what to expect in the following announcement trailer. Good luck! I say goodbye until next time. See you soon, and as always, see you in the verse.
In a world that wants to tame me, you can't catch me on the run, cause I'm gone, yeah. I blaze trails, set fire to what's behind me. No, I'm never looking back, I'm on the run. I could only ever be what I'm made to be. It feels good when I'm living on the edge. Watch me now, roll like thunder, gonna shake the ground. Can't stop me now, I don't give up and I won't back down. I'm a force of nature, can't be contained. I got lightning running all through my veins. Watch me now, watch me now. I come alive when I'm in the face of danger. Bring the pressure, but I'm gonna rise above, yeah. Bet the house and I'll take that wager. They say you know a legend when you see one. Watch me now, I roll like thunder, gonna shake the ground. Can't stop me now, I don't give up and I won't back down. I'm a force of nature, can't be contained. I got lightning running all through my veins. Watch me now, watch me now. Where there's a will, there's a way. Won't quit, I'm here to stay. Yeah. Watch me now, roll like thunder, gonna shake the ground.